Timpani drums, the timpani drums, the timpani drums are playing on Slice and Dice Dreadcast tonight. Welcome to episode 14 of Slice and Dice Dreadcast. Oh my God is right. Sorry. This is going to be a musical number tonight. When we cover no, we're not covering musicals tonight, folks. We're here to talk about movies that are apparently not horror movies, though. Or are they horror movies? That's the question. So I'm here with my co-hosts, Jim and James.
Hello.
Hey guys.
A little bumpy road in. I don't know what the hell I was talking about, how we segued into the episode, but somehow I sang and sounded like an idiot. And it's time to shift gears back into my usual, I don't know, introduction of what movies we're going to do tonight. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Slice and Dice Dreadcast, episode 14. I'm here with my co-hosts, Jim and James, coming at you from Pittsburgh in Florida, and we will be speaking about Silent Rage, 1982, somewhat of a sci-fi horror thriller directed by Michael Miller, and the 1997 film Abre los Ojos, Open Your Eyes, directed by Alejandro Amenbar, also known as the film that Vanilla Sky was based off of. So, gentlemen, good morrow. Good morrow, merry man.
Good morrow to you.
What's going on, Joe?
Or to you.
Good morrow. I am the Bald Virgin, here to discuss some films with you boys and point out every symbolic aspect that I possibly can. I won't, don't worry. Not on this show. I take my top off on this show.
And they'll be back. We haven't been on for a while.
Yeah, it's been a minute, man.
It's been a minute. And we're going to change our format up a little bit. We're going to be shifting to a bi-weekly rather than a almost weekly 10-dayer. And we'll cover an extra film. So we're going to put up a poll in our Facebook group every after every episode, and we'll see which episode will come into play. So tonight's poll brought us 3 selections, right? Mine was Rats. Come on, guys, talk. I don't want to hear myself.
I thought you were running through the selections.
No, I don't know. In my head, I thought each of you would say mine was this.
You could throw it to us, co-host. That Joey. He steers the car in this thing. Most of the time, he steers us up a tree, but it's cool.
As long as we're wearing our seatbelts.
So my pick.
Anyway, my pick was American Psycho, which I can watch.
I think you tied with Joey in the end, right? Last I looked, you guys were tied. But my pick was Stephen King's It,
which blew this other films out of the water. Rats came in with 3, American Psycho with 4, and Stephen King's It with 11. So thank you, people, for voting. And our next episode, we'll be covering Stephen King's It. So I'll have to read a 1,500-page novel on top of everything else in the next 2 weeks. So thank you for that. I won't be reading the novel, no.
You got to get the Cliff Notes.
I read like half of it. Like, I don't know.
I dabbled in it a couple times. I try to do it, and it's too much. And I'm not a big reader anyway. So I don't have the attention span for it.
Yeah. I mean, tackling it now versus back when I initially read it, it'll be a different experience. So maybe one day, but maybe this year before the actual remake comes out. So the new. So we'll see what happens with that. But we got Cousin It for the next episode, and down the line we'll pick out 2 new randoms, one from Netflix and one from Shudder. So we'll shift a little, jump around, and maybe if a new VOD comes out, we want to fucking talk about that, we will. I don't know. we'll see what happens. But yeah, this is the new format for now, every 2 weeks. And that's basically it. Nothing too scientific there, eh?
Nah, man. Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Sounds good. Sounds like a plan.
Good to go.
Jim, how's it going over there?
It's going, man. I'm glad I got to watch the movies finally, and I'm not watching them, but now I kind of regret it.
I mean, I don't know. I've been sick. My fucking peeps have been sick. You know, a lot of bodily fluids. So it's been a rough one the past couple weeks. But I don't know. For some reason, the Open Your Eyes I kept like, oh, I should watch this, but I'm going to watch The Terminator instead.
Well, I mean, it being a subtitled movie, you have to pay attention to it. You can't just kind of have it on as background noise, you know?
Right.
I mean, now that you've seen it, you could, but I don't think you're going to put that on again.
But
like, it's funny because I'll sit here like we haven't been on in what 2 weeks almost?
I think 2 weeks.
Week and a half, maybe something like that.
Yeah.
I sit here. I don't have a lot of free time, but I'm normally up, and I just can't bring my. Like I said, I'm like, I got to watch those movies for the next episode, but I watched this sitcom series on Netflix for the third time and just watch the whole series.
You know what it is? We were on a good run of doing like a show a week for a little while there. So I like trained myself to like watch the 2 movies for this pretty quick. So I managed to knock them out within like the first couple days, but you know, it's just busy.
Yeah, you know, it ain't easy. Got the other podcast, watching 3 movies. We cut that down to 2. Then wrestling. I've been keeping up with the wrestling. It's been pretty good so far.
I don't got a choice. My son loves it, so I watch it with him. And my wife actually doesn't mind it because she allows me to watch like on weeks where there's pay-per-views. I literally watch like 10 hours of professional wrestling a week. And she learned that if she lets me watch wrestling, she just slides baskets of clean laundry in front of me and I'll fold it while I'm watching wrestling.
Oh,
that's like our little deal. You know, I watch 10 hours of pro wrestling and I fold the laundry. And she doesn't bother me about it.
I can't wait for my kids to get older so I don't have to fold tiny little garments
all
the time. Oh, God. And like you get a basket full and it's like, here's 100 shirts, onesies, and you know, like, how am I going to fold this little fucking underwear? Just throw it in the goddamn drawer. Like my underwears is like, I could put a whole family in my underwear, you know? So I'm like, using it as a blanket on my child. That's how, you know?
Valentine's Day passed while we've been off. And just real quick, I want to show you guys this. Anybody that follows our Instagram page knows that I am a huge fan of things that I like being mashed up. And my wife got me this pretty dope Biggie Buddha. Hip hop fans out there, that thing's pretty sweet. Love that bad boy.
Biggie Buddha. That's great.
Yeah, I saw that. I noticed it a while ago. I told her about it, and I kind of forgotten about it, and she picked that up for me for Valentine's Day, so that was kind of awesome.
Nice.
And the guy who makes those, they're 3D printed. I saw Mike talking about on the Facebook page, like Planet of the Apes. He has Planet of the Apes stuff. He makes Planet of the Apes shirts and all kinds of crap like that. So
where is this online?
Yeah, Mucky Chris, I think the dude's name is 3D printing or whatever. He has a site. He has tons, like if you like Star Wars, Planet of the Apes, horror stuff. I know he has a Jason Voorhees Buddha and a Frankenstein Buddha that I saw. And then he has a bunch of crap from Planet of the Apes and Star Wars and, you know, a couple superheroes and crap like that.
Nice.
So pretty sick.
Nice. Yeah, I got my wife fucking a bunch of Godiva chocolate. I was like, keep it simple. Can't go wrong with that.
Nah.
It's delicious. I ended up eating some of it too, you know. I did flowers the week before. It was her birthday, and then I spent the evening with my counterparts at Death by Podcast, and we recorded our 14th episode, ironically, on Valentine's Day. 14th.
Nice.
I had bowling league, got drunk, and came home, went to bed.
Nice.
I finally watched
What's wrong with going to bed?
Yeah, I finally watched The Good Neighbor, and I also squeezed in Return to Sleepaway Camp.
Ooh.
It was pretty cool. It's like a Saved by the Bell version of Sleepaway Camp, you know?
I put it on once and I had to turn it off.
Yeah, I ended up I watched it one day before work. I got done early. I was able to squeeze it in. So let me check this thing out. But yeah, it I didn't hate it, but it doesn't hold up to like the original or nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really remember it too well. I just remember putting it on, being like, it was one of those, I'm going to bed instead, you know?
Yeah, I did that with Tokyo Gore Police. I started watching that.
You started watching that.
Yeah, I ended up. It was crazy. Like, it didn't know if it wanted to be a serious movie or like a crazy Japanese game show. Like, it was nuts. And I watched a nice little piece of it, and then I was like, it was late. I was like, you know what, I'm going to bed. But maybe I'll finish it one day eventually. I'll remember to go back and check it out.
Yeah, I watched a movie the other night, Arrival. I don't know if either you guys saw that one yet.
It's like the UFO one.
Yeah, it's like stars Amy Adams, and she's like a linguist professor, and all of a sudden she comes into class on the first day, and there's like 3 people in the room. They're like, "Can you put on the news, professor?" And she puts it on, and it's like 12 ships have landed all around the world, and next thing you know, she's in her office, and fucking Forrest Whitaker comes walking in, like recruits her to come basically to Nebraska to see what's up and translate and see what's going on with these fucking creatures and aliens. And yeah, it's pretty good.
Sweet.
Really loved it, actually. I know Mike watched it, so we'll probably talk about it a little on that. But I definitely give it a recommend. Check that out. It was nominated for 8 Oscars, so it has some. I remember one of my students on Sunday in class was like, "Yeah, I put it on and fell asleep." I was like, "Did you get to the end though? Like, you didn't get to the end? Like, it's a slow burner,
Yeah.
It's a lot of. It's not just it's not like a sci-fi flick for. It's more about humanity, at the core and the big questions in life. So, really good movie. Check that out. And yeah, reminds me of fucking. I couldn't help but think about texting and the way people interpret language nowadays. Because you send like 7 words on a message, and all of a sudden somebody's taking it like you just told them off or something, which goes into another fucking topic of discussion. There was a little drama in the LBC, but I don't want to harp on that shit. But anyway, interpretation, so that movie made me think about that a lot, and language and the way we communicate and the way things get interpreted. So if you're into sci-fi and drama, definitely check that one out.
Speaking of language, a lot of scientists think that if aliens do come, that they'll try to communicate with whales first, because whales' language is more complex than ours. I'm with it.
Interesting. I need to go across the pond and learn whales.
There have been reports throughout the years of underwater found, so they might be already under there talking.
USOs, man.
So what do you think? Extraterrestrials? They're out there?
Oh, yeah. I love that Ancient Alien show where they're responsible for basically everything.
Yeah.
Everything.
I mean, I've heard theories of them being responsible for Bigfoot. Like, it just never ends. It's crazy.
I like the crystal skulls.
Yeah, the Crystal Skulls. That stuff's pretty dope. I actually watched a documentary on Netflix about like there being like alien bases on the moon, and that's what like the whole space race was about. That like our satellites sent back photos of like abandoned structures up there, so it was like a race to get there and try to get the friggin' technology out of it. And they found 2 bodies up there and shit. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, man.
I love all things like any supernatural, paranormal, cryptozoological. Like I'm about all that shit. Like I've been obsessed lately with like looking into like elemental spirits, like fucking like fairies and friggin' sirens and leprechauns and all that kind of wacky shit.
Like folklore, mythology.
Yeah, like like things that are like supposed to be spirits, but they're not actual. Like they were never like living things, like humans or anything. You know how like in Norway they actually have like crossings for elves because like everybody up there believes that elves are like a real deal thing.
Elves crossing.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
That's fucking nuts.
I don't know, dude. There's on YouTube. You can watch it. Pretty hard to fake. And the shit that I do, look at what the fuck I do. I go into abandoned buildings talking to things I can't see. You think I don't believe there's other shit out there that exists? If people think this is just this idiocy is all there is, fucking morons, man.
Yeah, I actually saw listen to a podcast called Beyond the Darkness. Either you guys hear that? It's actually on Jericho has his podcast now. He has his own network on Podcast One, and it's on there. And it's these guys have like a paranormal radio show somewhere, and he gave them a podcast. But now it's like a daily thing, and they did episodes about like the black-eyed children, and they've touched on like they call him the Bloody Man. Apparently, there's a guy who kind of looks like like Freddy Krueger, basically, that people wake up and find in the fucking house and shit, like laying next to them in bed. I was like, that's some wild stuff, man.
Wake up to a fucking melted cheese pizza next to you.
Yeah.
Oh, lovely.
Sweet. That and like they did one on Slender Man and like the Mandela effect and all that kind of wild shit. So I love all that stuff.
Yeah, I like all that shit too. Those horrible 40-minute fucking, on like True TV and that kind of shit.
Hey.
Yeah, man. Those wacky programs. I love that shit. I just wish there was a little more tangible evidence, Maybe there is, and I just don't know about it. Do you guys know about any?
I know a lot.
I know with
I know a lot.
I mean, I know with Bigfoot, they've had like footprints that they're like, it's impossible to kind of fake this as far as like, dermal ridges on the toe prints and crap like that, where like, some crazy redneck in the woods wouldn't be able just to do that. So who knows?
Maybe we should have fucking do research into this kind of stuff and talk about Bigfoot.
My son,
you want to know?
I want to know what. I saw the Willow Creek movie, and I thought it really brought back my attraction towards that. And also, I was watching a movie with my daughter, and what the fuck were we watching? Anyway, when the movie ended, automatically Harry and the Hendersons came on. I was like, this movie called Harry and the Hendersons. It's about this thing called Bigfoot. I was like, yeah. So
if we ever get a Sasquatch creature feature, I have friends that they'll call in. I know a lot of other people that host their own podcast. They'll call in. The friends that I have, we go squatching. Care all this shit. You learn a lot.
Sasquatch, I know your legend's real. Tenacious D.
Nice. Yeah, my son, man, I let him watch an episode of Monster Quest a couple of years back. He was little, and it was like about like the Mothman or something. and we went to the park by our house in Brooklyn, and he was like fully convinced we were gonna find the Mothman like that day. Yeah,
That's awesome.
That's awesome.
The Mothman is one that there's a book. I couldn't get my hands on it. That
Mothman Festival down here in Point Pleasant. Come down with me. Meet me down here.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear anything you just said. It sounded like chop suey.
That's great. Come down to the Mothman Festival here in Point Pleasant, where the legend is, from. It's only a couple hours for me. We'll have a good time down there. It's a good time.
Yeah. Oh, maybe we should have like a quick in the beginning of every episode. We'll talk about one random thing. So, Mothman, we'll do a little investigating over the 2 weeks. Nothing crazy. You don't gotta and we'll talk about it. I think it sounds like an interesting idea. What do you think, guys?
I'm cool. Like I said, I love this crap, man. I'll look into all of it.
So what's next episode? Mothman, Bigfoot, UFOs,
Let's do it.
aliens. What are we talking next episode?
I can get a guest speaker for every.
Yeah. Yes, Chupacabra. That sounds good.
Hey,
what do you think?
Chupacabra works for me.
All right, I gotta write it down before I forget.
Look into Chupacabra.
The formatting is changing again, folks.
Nah.
Chalupa Cabra. All right, great. So, speaking of Silent Rage, I don't know. I guess let's get into it.
Yeah, man, might as well.
Let's get into it, folks. All right, pull up my phone. Got my note. Got my notes. All right, Jim.
Yeah.
You got this?
I got the synopsis.
All right, the synopsis, Jim. Let's hear it.
Hopefully I don't cut out a little too much for you, but the movie is Silent Rage from 1982, starring Chuck Norris. A sheriff, he tries to stop the killing spree of a mute, maniacal murderer who, as a result of years of medical experimentation, has the ability to self-heal. Did you hear all that?
I read somewhere that they were calling this Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers.
That's funny because at the end, that's first time where I was like, "Oh shit!" Actually, this dude's reminding me of like a fucking Michael Myers killer right now. As he's like getting up out of the water and shit. He had the jumpsuit on. It looks just like him.
It's crazy. So, 1982, Silent Rage. How much do you guys know about Chuck Norris?
Chuck Norris is awesome.
Like, what point in his career is Silent Rage? Because
it's early. Because I think the first movie he was ever in was with Bruce Lee in Return of the Dragon, and I think that was like 79 or something. 72. I'm sorry.
72. Way to Dragon, right?
Yeah.
So he started out in like.
He was a legit martial artist. Like he won like world karate tournament or some crap like that, and that's how he ended up in the movie with Bruce Lee. Which, if you want a Chuck Norris fact, Bruce Lee beats the dog shit out of him at the end of that movie in the Roman Coliseum.
Yeah, gets his ass whooped. But so we have 1982, so 10 years into a film career. I just pulled up his filmography. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is his 8th movie.
10 movies before this.
10 movies. And he's got a pretty extensive filmography through the 70s and 80s and early 90s. But then he has a break from 95 to 2003 where he plays himself in Dodgeball and then The Expendables. So
Well, he was doing Walker, Texas Ranger, the TV show.
Oh yeah,
That whole
that
time.
shit was on for fucking 12 years.
Yeah, I mean, that's where a lot of the whole, like, the Chuck Norris facts and all that kind of stuff stemmed from him, from that. Like,
Yeah, fucking, I love that show when I was a kid. I remember I first seen it when I slept over my grandparents' house. I was like, what is this? Chuck Norris has a TV show?
yeah,
It's like Sidekicks that had just come out and
Sidekicks,
92 and
Brandis.
So yeah, I was on like a whole fucking Chuck Norris kick, but there wasn't Wikipedia where I could just pop open his filmography, you know.
Well, I mean, you realize, like, back in the early like with the late 80s, early 90s, like, kids back then with the Ninja Turtles, like, martial arts was like the coolest thing in the world to us,
Yeah.
So,
and then like Channel 11 was always playing Mission in Action, Delta Force 2, Mission in Action 2 and 3, so it was always he was always on. Him and Stallone always were on Channel 11. Fucking Channel 11 movies.
Oh, they were the best, man.
Lone Wolf McQuade, him and Carradine. I mean, come on, he's got some pretty good films, I gotta say. Not the most exhilarating, but out of these 20 plus movies, I'd say, 4 or 5 of them are pretty good action flicks.
Well, I mean, if I guess you got to ask the question, like, are you a martial arts movie fan? Because I love martial arts movies, but the point of them is the fight scenes. You know what I mean? Like, one of my favorite, more recent martial arts movies is that movie, The Protector, with Tony Jaa, and it's literally a movie about a guy who beats the crap out of everybody because somebody stole his elephant. Like, it's that ridiculous, There's another one from Thailand called Chocolate about a girl who's like autistic, and she learned how to fight watching Tony Jaa movies, and her mom is like a former girlfriend of like a Yakuza, and she gets sick, so they're trying to go get the money from a friggin', and it's like she learns how to fight, and all of a sudden she's beating the crap out of everybody. They're not made to be like these films you could kind of break down. They're just like, hey, we talk to get to the next fight scene,
Yeah.
This dude has like such a folklore around him that he's definitely one of the most well-known people of all time, basically. Like the Expendables 2, I love the Expendables movies because I just love action. They're just action-packed. And 2, when he came in, it was like fucking... What? He just came walking down the street, killed like 30 fucking people by himself, and it was like, hey, what's up, Chip? Hey, Booker, whatever. But yeah, him and Stallone together, and then all that, and then Schwarzenegger in the same movie. And shit. Like, I love this fucking movie.
Dude, he created his own martial art, Chun Cook Do. That is sick, and he has 10 commandments. Number 1. I will develop myself to the maximum of my potential in all ways.
And I mean, like, when the fact that Bruce Lee kind of co-signed him by putting him in the movie with him, like, made martial art movies fans love him that much more. And then he was able to, basically, if it wasn't for that, he wouldn't have been able to build the career that he had after that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Fucking, because it was like, he did that, and then a couple years, rolled by. Then his first starring role was in '77. So yeah, that, and I guess the fact that he was had the martial arts career. He in 1968 he defeated somebody and won a middleweight championship title. So he had that for 6 years. So
yeah, he's a legit badass dude, man. Yeah. And especially at a time like, other than Bruce Lee, Bruce Lee. I don't know how much you got because I'm like a fucking martial arts nerd, but
school us.
He came up with the idea for like the TV show Kung Fu. But at the time, in the country, they didn't want an Asian man. I mean, when he was on the Green Hornet, they made him wear the mask because they wanted to like almost hide the fact he was Asian. And they took the Kung Fu TV show, they took his idea, made it without him, and hired David Carradine, a white guy who wasn't a martial artist. He was a friggin' ballet dancer.
Yeah.
So
loved this Sick masturbation.
Yeah, you know, which I think he was killed by the Thai mob. I don't think he actually choked him. I think that was a good story. Like, how was he masturbating while strangling himself if his hands were tied behind his back? You know, you get found hung in a closet with your hands tied behind your back, and like, oh, he was jerking off while he was choking himself. It's like, nah, I don't think he could do that without his hands.
Ah.
You
In there.
He died what? Right after a few years after Kill Bill 2, no?
Yeah, a couple after Kill Bill 2.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But
I
yeah,
don't know.
I mean, he was a legit dude they could stick in these movies because, you know, because even Van Damme, he was a dancer. He wasn't initially a martial artist.
Mm.
So,
No wonder why he could do such phenomenal splits.
yeah, he was like a fucking ballerina.
You know, now you say that, and like the way he moves in his movie, like he's so fucking elegant.
Yeah, don't get me wrong. I love Van Damme movies. Like Bloodsport is like one of my favorite fucking movies, you know?
Yeah, Bloodsport's awesome.
I actually watched a couple minutes
I
of
love
the
that
Street
scene where-
Fighter movie he did.
Which one? Street Fighter?
Yeah, when they did the Street Fighter live action. He was
Yeah.
Guile. Just go ahead, Jim. Sorry.
No, I love what was that one? Like they showed him dancing. Is that Bloodsport? Whenever he did that fucking
Nah,
funny ass dance, and everybody made fun of him a couple
I
years.
think that was that Kickboxer? I think that was in Kickboxer, that scene.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
And he was on Conan a year and a half ago, and he made him do it again. It was fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Dude, I remember fucking missing in action as a kid, like not knowing anything about fucking war, or just like, yeah, him and Rambo always on like Channel 11 movie.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's crazy. I would love to watch those movies now as an adult because I don't think I've ever seen any missing in action movie as an adult. I saw original Rambo as an adult, and that shit was awesome.
You saw the remake he did a couple of years back?
What,
Probably
Rambo?
Yeah,
Awesome.
Rambo, the last Rambo.
Nah,
awesome.
I didn't see it.
I
Mike
really
told me about that recently too. He's like,
I
you didn't
think
see that?
the only reason he made that movie was like to play on a 50 cal, like the whole last friggin' 45 minutes. He's chopping motherfuckers in half with that gun. It's ridiculous.
It is so fucking good, man. It is so good.
Really good.
Turn that into
everybody
the
says
Expendable movies with the same effects, and the killing in them movies are just fucking awesome. Everybody's splitting in half and big shotguns, and oh, it's so good.
Yeah, it's a good movie, Joe. You gotta find it. Check it out.
Rambo. Yeah, I'll have to check that out. So, what do we got here? A weird ass fucking sci-fi horror kung fu action flick? What the fuck is this movie?
I mean, I don't know.
It's a love story.
It's a love story. That's really what it is. Dude, we got that love montage in there in the middle of it that was way too long, but it was that great friggin' like 80s like friggin' love song playing during it. Like as bad as that, like, you know, sometimes sometimes stuff is so good, bad it's good, and that was like one of those things. Like this friggin' love montage right now is awesome.
So good. Laying pipe.
Yeah, man. I mean,
I was just like, I don't know. I wasn't expecting a lot from it, and I mean, I didn't really. It wasn't that good, honestly. In my opinion, it was definitely fun to watch. You know, but I think it was a little too long.
That's what I was gonna
15
say.
minutes off.
Like, I love martial arts movies, you know, as I said, but the fight scenes weren't good enough to make up for the lagging in between them. Like, there was the scene where, like, was it the girl is getting like stalked? The doctor's wife is like getting stalked in the house, and I mean that friggin' thing went on forever. And when I first saw the doctor for like a split second, I was like, "Is that Al Pacino?"
Yeah. I was like, Andy Garcia?
But
Who's that?
the beginning of the movie,
Andy Garcia.
when the movie starts off and he first flips out with the axe, like that first axe shot to the face was like so robotic. Like he didn't feel like he swung it. Like he kind of just turned into him, you know?
Dude, the fucking movie opens up with The Shining.
That's what I was gonna say. That's exactly what I wrote down. I'm like when he pops his head through the hole that he busted the door.
I was like,
Yeah.
what the fuck? Dude, that
Here
was
he kills
so
the neighbor with a super
awkward.
realistic effect.
Like her facial expressions were exactly the same as Shelley Duvall's. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah,
It was
it's
just
ridiculous.
weird.
That beginning part was ridiculous. And then, like the guy ends up getting the super serum and he's indestructible and crazy.
Yeah. Like, talk about shave off time. Like the first 3 minutes of the film is just credits with a stained glass window. What the fuck? Like, come on, let's get into this shit already. This is not a fucking, a film that you need to like drop symbolism in the opening scene with a fucking stained glass window. What the fuck are you doing here?
I feel like this entire movie was made just for the bar fight scene.
That was fucking
that
great.
like yeah, because even like the big fight at the climax wasn't as cool as the bar fight scene.
No, that and like
I don't
Flounder
know,
in this
but-
movie, fucking from Animal House. Flounder,
Endorphin,
fucking Animal
baby.
House. Yeah, I was like, what the fuck? He's like outside talking about the babe that he was almost grabbing her honkers. I'm like, he's Chuck Norris
biggest
just
I've
in there
ever
taking out
seen.
bikers.
With the
Hysterical.
worst fake tattoos on that chick's boobs ever. Like you could actually see like the light reflecting off of like where like the adhesive was on it. It's like, dude, hey. Yeah, basically.
Yo. And I just watched the Terminator the other day, and like this villain in this movie was like a fucking Frankenstein Terminator or something. He just would not. Relentless. But then things come about, and I'm like, how the fuck does this guy know where the doctor lives?
Yeah. I mean, you get the idea the doctor was kind of like connected with him from the beginning when because he shows up at the house and he's trying to like tell him not to kill him and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, they don't really get too deep into all that. But I mean, he gets jacked up and sent back, and the doctors like re-heal him again, or whatever the hell it was. He ends up back at the lab he escaped from, which they never quite pan out how the fuck that happened.
Did the dip out real quick. I'll be right back, guys.
I'll be back in a little while, guys. But I mean, there was a couple cool kills, like that one kill where he just slammed the chick's head into the fucking wall. That was pretty cool. I wasn't mad at it.
Like why would this be considered a horror? Because it's almost like a slasher, I guess.
I think it's almost. I think because of the one axe scene, the fact that he was Michael. Like, I mean, he's an indestructible killer, a psychopath, and this is way more of a horror movie than the next movie we're going to talk about.
Oh, for sure, definitely, definitely falls more in that category. But I mean, it wasn't gory, right, per se.
Not particularly.
Well,
that's the thing. Like, does gore? I mean, if it was more gory, would you have any problem saying it's not a horror movie?
No.
Is that because this is what I've been thinking about? Like, you guys on the other show, on Death by Podcast, had that whole thing about like, is this movie horror or not, or whatever? And
right,
like, I know
Green
you two,
Room, horror movie or not?
Yeah, I haven't seen that yet. I know you and Jim. I know Jim said he saw the first Purge. You didn't see the second two.
Mm.
I know you didn't see none of them, but
I did just get the digital copies of part 1 and 2, so I will be watching.
There you go. Dive in, man. But if you look at the second and third Purge, the central theme of humans being hunted by other humans in an urban setting is the same theme as the movie The Warriors, but I've never in my life considered The Warriors a horror movie.
Right. Well, I think it's the way that that story is presented. Right. I mean, the kills in the Warriors, there's not bloodshed. You don't get fucking
You don't
brutality. You get a voiceover that's like, "Hey, boppers," throughout the whole movie. The tone is different. You know what I mean?
But had the friggin' the Furies baseball batted somebody's brains out of their ear and they showed it, would it be considered a horror movie then?
If it was throughout the film and a constant rather than one scene. Depends.
That's what I'm saying. Like, is the gore level enough to make it a horror movie?
I mean, I think, gore plays a major factor. Definitely does.
If killing and gore were the only factor in a horror movie, then Rambo would be a horror movie.
Especially that last Rambo was gory.
Like, there are other aspects. This was an action movie to me. And it had the killer resembled a Michael or a Jason character just because he was superhuman, I guess. But aspect that I saw that turned us from love story into an action movie, but I never would think this was a horror movie.
Yeah, and I think also knowing that the killer was that way because of science, in my eyes, would put it more in like a sci-fi kind of category than horror.
See, like, that's the thing, right? So Jim says, Rambo would be a horror movie, right? But the other themes aren't there, so it has to go hand in hand. Like, this movie wasn't over the top gory, but you know what it was? It was a definitive slasher. There's no doubt about that. I mean, this guy relentlessly trying to kill you and people in his path. While the way it was presented, you get first-person views, you get slow pacing, you get the music that builds it up, right? You get the way he kills these people. It's stalking. So I mean, it definitely has that element. The way he's portrayed, he's coming out, he's very greasy, it's dark colors, dark shots, the way the cinematography. So I mean, all that stuff has to come into play too if we're talking about what makes a horror movie. And I guess the tone of this film is dreary and dreadful, Dreadcast, and it definitely has that tone, that feel to it. So I could see why it would fall in the genre. I mean, it definitely belongs on Shudder, where the other movie does not belong on Shudder at all.
See, then I was stuck thinking to myself, if I didn't go into this expecting like a quote unquote horror movie, would I be enjoying it more, or is it because I'm like, why the fuck is this on Shudder? Was I kind of like tuned out to it?
Exactly.
You know what I mean? Like,
I know what you mean. I was tuned out to this also, and I think it was just because it was not that good of a movie.
Yeah, like, other than Chuck Norris being Chuck Norris, there was nothing about this movie that like.
Even Chuck Norris was fucking bland in this movie compared to other roles.
Yeah.
He wasn't even Chuck. He was a hunk with that blonde hair, though. But I mean, ultimately, except for that scene where he destroys the fucking bar, I mean, I don't know my notes. I can't think of any other scene. Yeah, I mean, that opening scene when you meet him and he's like walking around the house and like, he's looking at everything. Like, you first see Chuck, it's like, yeah, But ultimately, yeah, nothing else really stood out as far as the fighting. What I did think
the only thing that got me was the I'll spoil up here a little bit, the fact that he used the attitude adjustment at the end to send the killer down to the well.
I wrote AA into the well, man. I was like, but then I'm thinking, this motherfucker, after everything you just saw this dude do, and you think like throwing him down a well, like that's it. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Oh, he's in the well now. I'm saying, like,
exactly.
The guy came off the top of the building.
Yeah. I'm like, that's it. And then of course they have the last also why it's a horror movie especially of the 80s. That last
The final scare.
jumps out or whatever, and he's still alive.
I'm guessing Chuck's hoping he doesn't learn how to climb up a friggin',
right?
But
I mean,
besides that, it's like, what makes him think he like? At least if he tried to seal the well up after that, you know what I mean? Like if they showed him like moving the planks back on top of it and like somehow securing the.
But like he was with, he's with the chick, and he sends him into the well, and this was right after his car got exploded. He just found all these dead people. His deputy is dead. All he says to the girl is, "Let's go home."
Let's go home. That's it.
I'm like, really? Let's go home after all these dead bodies you just found.
And I loved also like just now that we get, but in the bar scene, like why the fuck was that dude's motorcycle inside the bar?
Inside the bar. Why not? They're wild
let's
boys.
just park this in here.
When we were talking about that well scene, I just realized another aspect why this is probably considered horror too, but there was definitely scenes of body horror when they're like working on him and like cutting his, use the most horrible fucking chest prop ever. Cutting him open, healing, cutting him open, healing. So I mean, small things. And that's the thing, it's not a full-on horror movie, but it definitely has the elements, right? Horror, sci-fi, action, love story. Yeah. So you know what I mean? It definitely it falls in under the umbrella. There's it definitely falls under the umbrella. I think. What do you guys think? Horror movie?
No, I don't consider this a horror movie. I mean, yeah, I don't know.
There's horror elements, but it's not a for sure bottom line horror movie. It has elements of a horror movie.
Yeah, all right, let's say if the second movie we watched was something else, I probably wouldn't have been throwing a flag on if this was a horror movie or not. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have been like, all right, like I would have understood why it was on Shudder. We're like, okay, that makes sense. But then when I watched, the next movie, I was like, what the fuck, man? Like, so,
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think this is definitely clear cut as compared to the next movie for sure. But there's definitely no denying the elements. Now the question is, okay, if you have elements, right? If you have elements, then that makes it part of it, right? Now, if you have elements of many different genres, where is this supposed to stand? You know what I mean? Even like I watched The Arrival with my wife, and she's like, now that's a science fiction movie I like to watch, Yeah, because it's not like fucking, Mars Attacks, both sci-fi movies, but totally different kinds. So I mean, I don't know. I guess it's just such a gray area when it comes to this kind of stuff. I mean, neither of you guys seen Green Room yet, right?
I'm sorry, what?
Neither of you guys have seen Green Room yet.
No, I haven't seen Green Room.
I mean, I'll just give you a quick little tidbit. So it's basically about this band, and they're confined to the green room because they see a murder, right? But like throughout the film, you have shotguns to the head, dogs ripping out throats, fucking arms getting mutilated. So you have all those gore elements. So, but like you said, the Rambo thing, well, what else is part of it? Fear, anxiety, dread, suspense, all that stuff falls under the category of horror. Those elements make a horror movie too, and they're there. So how can you not say this movie is a horror film? A horror thriller for sure, but definitely horror. So same thing with this movie, right? I mean, I'd definitely, depending on what kind of fucking video shop I owned, where would you find this? In the horror, sci-fi, or action? Most likely action, right?
Yeah.
It's Chuck Norris, so I would say, this is
It's Chuck Norris,
right? you know. So I'd say it's an action horror sci-fi. I guess I don't fucking know, but I think if you went into a store and a video store in the 1990s and saw this on a shelf, it'd be a tough call because also the way the movie is marketed, right? If you look at the cover real quick, it's on here, IMDb. Science created him. Now Chuck Norris must destroy him. So, I mean, it's coming off as like a sci-fi, you know, martial arts master versus superhuman killing machine. You know, it's this picture of fucking like brainwaves and a guy with suction things on his head on the cover. So, I mean, I don't know what the fuck they wanted this movie to be, honestly. But yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, dude. It's like you said. I remember going to video stores in the '80s or in the '90s, and looking for if I went to rent this, I would rent this sheer on the fact first made a horror movie, and then when I went home, I would probably be a little disappointed. I would want a generic horror film, you know, killer killing slasher, and then he's like the fucking to kill him, but it's not an action movie; it's a horror movie. Just be like, dude, I just watched an action movie starring Chuck Norris. You know,
like think about it like this: swap out Chuck Norris and put in some other standalone actor, right? Do you still have this
never swap out
notorious action movie? Is it now considered more of a horror movie because it's not Chuck Norris?
Because there's way more romanticism than there is. There's romanticism in action more than there is horror.
I think if you took Chuck Norris out of this, you would just have a bad movie. Like honestly, like people tune in because it's Chuck Norris and they know they're going to see
puts it up once
fighting, you know.
See, I thought the killer was very interesting, and the way they utilized silence in this movie with him. I mean, he doesn't say anything. You know, silent rage. You don't even know why he's off his hinges. You know, he's just a straight up killing machine, like it says. There was parts like when he's in the back of the cop car and he could just rip handcuffs apart and kick a fucking door off of a fucking 1980s vehicle. You know what I mean? Like that door was heavy. That was not a plastic fucking door like today's vehicles.
Yeah.
So that shit like that, I was like, come on, that's a little ridiculous. It's not like this guy is, you know, he can't die. He's not the Incredible fucking Hulk. You know, he's a killer machine, sure, but he's not superhuman in that strength. So you know, shit like that. It was like, come on, you know. And then, like we said earlier, it definitely plays on for too long. A lot of it in the stalking. Get corny little heartwarming fucking moments with horrible. So I mean, yeah, honestly, it you know, I mean, what more can you say? It's a Chuck Norris fucking wannabe horror sci-fi action. Try to change up because it's not like Chuck Norris was notorious at this point, like. You know what I mean? 1982, he's done. It's not. He didn't do Missing in Action, Delta Force, you know, his classics yet. So he's not a bona fide star. I don't know. But
Amy Fry in the chat room on YouTube says Thriller. Thriller except you know, instead of horror, you know, that probably.
I mean, everywhere that I look, I Googled it and what came up, a couple of things. I mean, slasher / thriller. You know what I mean? That's why Rotten Tomatoes. Another title of this movie could be Chuck Norris versus Michael Myers. So, I mean, think about it. Michael Myers, Jason Voorhees had come out. So slasher was already in 1982. Well, so I mean, people was emerging. Why not do it in this manner? I mean, it has the recipe for a good movie, but the execution, I think, was too much, too much for them to handle. Obviously homage to The Shining in the beginning. You get awkward scenes like syringes to the necks. So I mean, and a couple of those little body horror scenes. So I mean, hey, it could definitely be a horror movie.
I'll put this way, I definitely enjoyed it way more.
Oh, really? No, I don't know.
I definitely enjoyed it way more than Open Your Eyes.
I mean, I don't know
about that one.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of Open Your Eyes, I don't know if there's all that much more left to say about this bad boy, unless you guys got some.
Yeah.
We could probably just rate this bitch.
Let's rate this bitch. Well, what do you got there, James?
I'm going to generously give it a 2.5, but that's mostly just because I am a martial arts movie fan. It is Chuck Norris. I enjoyed the fight scenes. I'm a friggin' Shining nerd, so that little shot out at the beginning I enjoyed. And I like the corniness of the love montage. So I enjoyed some 80s cheese and got to see some, martial arts, and, I'll give it 2.5. 2.5 zombie heads that bit Chuck Norris and turned into Chuck Norris, because Chuck Norris doesn't turn into a zombie. Zombies turn into Chuck Norris if they bite him.
That's right.
Yeah.
I had a shirt. It was like, what do you get when you mix Chuck Norris with a dinosaur? A Chuck Norrisaurus, and it was like a brontosaurus with a Chuck Norris head on it.
Nice.
It's great. So, all right, I'm gonna go with two zombie heads. Same reasons as you, except they needed to shave a little time off this. The dialogue was not that bad, but it wasn't, a very well written movie. I thought the premise was great. I thought the guy who played, I forgot his name. What was his name? Fucking, I don't know. Dude who played him, I thought he did a good job, especially for not having dialogue. Although maybe I missed it. The motive would have been nice if it came out through, whatever. Because, he's staying with his family. You don't really know exactly what's going down.
When he gets the phone call in the beginning or makes the phone call, he says on the phone, "I'm losing it." But they don't explain nothing further than that.
Yeah.
That's also, I think, the only time he speaks in the whole movie is when he says, "I'm losing it."
Yeah. So I don't know. I remember him on the phone. I can't remember what they were talking about. And yeah, I mean, it's a hybrid. It was a nice attempt, although not recommended for a must see. If it comes across your way, why not? It's fucking Chuck Norris. The love stuff was cheesy, 80s stuff. That scene in the bar alone, well worth it. And, the comedy from the comic relief from Flounder. As I said, it was a little too much of everything, trying to make the melting pot way too tasty, and it was just way too much, topping. So, anyway. Jim?
Yeah. I'm going 2.5. Strictly 2.5 zombie heads, strictly on the fact of attitude adjustment. Other than that, it had definitely down moments where it was like it was kind of boring as shit. But and he's not the most actor, I guess, in the world, so it's kind of like blah. But the killer was actually good. I did like what he did. Like I said, probably at the end he kind of did Michael Myers with the jumpsuit and getting back to life after being on fire and all that kind of stuff. Wasn't bad. So the 5 out of 5 zombie heads.
All right. So before we get into Open Your Eyes, let's see what's going to come up for next episode. So along with Cousin It, we're going to talk about the Chupacabra, right?
Yeah, Chupacabra.
And let's see. Let's open up on Netflix. We're going to switch over to Netflix now, see what Netflix is going to offer us. Pull up the horror section. Make it big. We got 6 across, and let's see. 1, 2, 3, 20. They're like 1. All right, so between 1 and 30, and then 1 and 6. James.
2 and 4.
Wow. You were 1 right next to it to the left, The Shining.
Get out of here.
Second down, 4 across, Most Likely to Die.
Most Likely to Die.
Write that down. Most Likely to Die. They expect a night of laughs, drinks, and nostalgia. They didn't expect it would be the last night of their lives. And the killer is in a graduation hat. This movie's gonna fucking suck already. I can tell.
Saying it already.
Yeah. No.
It's on Netflix. It's on Netflix, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's on Netflix.
Yeah, I watched it already.
On the Shutter, let's get a between page 1 and 27. Jim? Jim, 11. All right. 2, 3, 4, 5. A 5x5 pick. 1 through 5, 1 through 5.
5.
Okay. Okay. This would be Ju-on 2, The Curse. Ju-on the Curse 2.
How the fuck you spell that? Is it Japanese?
Yep. Ju-on. You don't
Damn
know
it.
Ju-on?
Fuck. How do you spell it?
Ju-on. You never heard Ju-on the Grudge? You know The Grudge, starring Sarah Michelle Gellar, right? Sarah Michelle Gellar?
Yeah, Sarah Michelle's in The Grudge.
Fuck. That's annoying.
Oh, Ju-on the Curse?
Ju-on the Curse 2. These movies fucking suck. Maybe we just pick our own fucking movies. You're right, Jim.
Yeah.
The thing is, with Ju-on 2, I'm like,
You're going to have to go watch the first one.
Yeah,
Now. Yeah.
I'm going to freak the fuck out.
Vito?
Hello? You good?
Vito?
Veto? Is he vetoing it? Is he going to veto? Well, Ju-on the Curse 2 is the second one in the franchise, so I could do it. I'm good with it. I'll even swap that other movie out and do the Curse 1, and we'll watch the fucking first 2. instead of the other one. Most likely to die. I'll fucking tweak it. Who's gonna say something? There's no fucking producer telling us what to do. What do you think?
I don't care. We could, if whatever works for y'all. I don't give a shit.
Jim, I'm seeing the anxiety all over your blurred face.
I gotta try to memorize the Netflix category list so I could get The Shining next time.
do you want to take another spin on the wheel?
I don't care. It's up to you guys. I'm
Of Shudder? Of Netflix? Jim, you call the shot, baby. You threw the veto out there.
How about we do this? How about
Fucking 4 movies every episode.
hold on? How about we all get a veto, but if you use your veto, you don't get another one for 3 episodes.
All right. So, Jim, your veto, you're using it on which one? The first one or Ju-on? Ju-on, right? I'm assuming Ju-on.
I don't want to have to read every fucking episode, dude.
I'll be right back. Just 1 second, fellas. Keep going.
No problem. All right. So pick another number between 1 and 27. Let's do it again.
12.
Oh God. I love this program, what we do. Oh man, there's a good one on here. Let's see. Interesting. All right. So 5 by 5. What is it?
2 and 4.
2 and 4. Oh, this is perfect for you. The blood-splattered bride. A man's sexual perversion drives his new wife into the arms of a female vampire. How's that? Good? Oh, man. Oh, I don't know if you are going to like this. It's from Spain.
Damn it.
Let's see. I just put it on real quick. I'll tell you if the subtitles or if it's dubbed. Come on, talk. Talk. Could we get talk? Could we get dialogue? Oh, it's dubbed in English. You're all good. You good, Jimmy Babes? All right. Sweet, dude. Say the blood. All right. James?
Blood
Yeah.
splattered bride.
What did we end up with? My bad.
The blood splattered bride.
All right.
1972 flick from Spain, but it's dubbed in English, so Jim's good.
Okay.
His veto worked out.
Nice.
And the what's it called? The synopsis sounded great. So
Awesome.
a man's sexual perversions drive his new wife into the arms of a female vampire. So
I think Jim has the Shudder
Great.
menu open, and he just picked. He knew exactly where to find that.
I do not.
All right. You know what? I'm using my fucking veto on Most Likely to Die. I don't want to watch that fucking movie.
All right, man.
I'm using my veto.
Yes.
Fuck it.
It's not that bad.
It's not that
All
bad.
all right. I'll do it. I'll save my veto. No, I'm using my veto.
Go ahead.
I'm using it. Let's get wild. All right.
Wait, what'd you say? It was one to the left or to the right? The Shining. 1, 2, and 5. I forget what the fuck.
Oh shit! All right,
Yeah,
all right.
let Jim do it because I picked the last one. It sucked on Netflix.
All right.
Jim could spin again.
I don't know. I can't do this. I've been avoiding this movie, Most Likely to Die. I don't know. I just feel like it's really
Nah,
bad.
dude. You got the veto.
We got the veto. We got the Danny DeVito. So, all right. So, 1 through 30, Jim.
17.
All right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. All right. 1 through 6.
3, 5.
No,
What?
it's all, Netflix is just one number the second time.
5.
Sure.
Okay. The Legend of Hell House, 1973. A team of paranormal investigators spends a dangerous. The Legend of Hell House.
Hell yeah.
Hell yeah. That's a lot better. Now we're talking here. Now we're talking.
Legend of Hell House.
We got a good episode on our hands next time. Now, baby. Look at that. We got that movie. We got The Bloody Wife, Vampire Lesbians, and fucking Cousin It, and the Chupacabra. We're in for a treat next time. I like it.
Awesome.
I like the veto rule that you put into effect. Except we don't get a veto till our veto kicks in on episode 17 again, right?
I think so. I think I'm the only one left who won. So
Yeah.
Jim might have to start sending
James is roll. That roll too.
Well,
I was gonna try to get you guys to pay me off the veto stuff you didn't like because I don't care what I watch. I'll keep the veto forever. It doesn't bother me.
Oh shit! All right.
So we're gonna do a poll pick. Yeah, on the end of the episode, we're gonna do a poll pick or what?
Yep, poll pick. So we'll put that up on the group this week. We'll decide which movies we want to pick, and we'll see. We'll see which one wins. So we got Stephen King's It. We got not most likely to die. Fucking Legend of Hell House and The Blood Spattered Bride. So we'll take a trip to the 70s and Stephen King and also the Chupacabra. So it'll be fun.
Sweet.
All right. Let me just write it on my note. Slice and Dice number 15. Chupacabra, Cousin It. Blood Spattered Bride.
At this point, I do want to, if you guys don't mind, I do want to give a little to the show, if you don't mind.
Our first sponsors. We got our first sponsors.
The awesome Club Phoenix, located outside of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, in Beaver County, which is about 40 minutes from downtown Pittsburgh. It's located directly off of the PA Turnpike between Elwood City and Big Beaver Falls, which is both funny. 7077 Big Beaver Boulevard. You can like the page on Facebook at The Club Phoenix. Opened Wednesday at 8 p.m. and Wednesday till 2 a.m. till 4 a.m. $20 cover, drinks. So if you're in the area down in Pittsburgh, come on out and see Club Phoenix.
Wow, Club Phoenix.
Nice. Shout out to them, man. Awesome.
Maybe we'll get some Club Phoenix shirts to wear on the program instead of Leatherface.
Jason.
So our first sponsors, I can't believe that it's called Beaver. I can't get over the beaver tail.
I was doing good until he said Big Beaver, and then I lost it. I was trying to stay as professional as
You can
possible.
find us on Big
In
Beaver
Beaver County,
Boulevard.
My county. I live in
God.
Beaver County, dude. Everything down here is Beaver. Beaver Falls, Beaver, Beaver County, Big Beaver. They're all towns, dude.
In Beaver,
Big
where I
Beaver.
live.
Holy shit. Yeah, man, that's fucking hysterical. All right, sweet, man. So shout out to the crew at Big Beaver Club Phoenix. Catch the ladies on stage, catch the drinks flowing, and find Jim and give us a shout.
Take pictures with Jim and tag us. We'll repost them on the Instagram.
Yeah, that's an
Yeah.
excellent idea.
You see me out at the club, come out, say hi. I'll take a picture with you, post it online. I'll post it on my Instagram. Fans, come on out if you're in the area. We never know who's listening to us if you don't talk to us on our social media site. So if you're in the area, let me know. We'll go out and hang out.
Sweet. All right, so now we'll segue, I guess, to the last discussion of the evening, and that's open your eyes. All right, abre los ojos. After you read the synopsis.
Jim's gonna read the synopsis, and then he's gonna take his early leave from the show. Enough of this bullshit.
Okay. Is it in English? Okay, yes it is. Okay. Open Your Eyes, 1977, starring Penelope Cruz. I guess would be the only one that everybody would know. Eduardo Noriega. Is about a very handsome man finds the love of his life accident and needs to have his face rebuilt by surgery after it is severely disfigured. It isn't the simplest of fucking this movie. I don't know what is.
Well, so this movie was the inspiration for Vanilla Sky, right? Directly adapted from this film. I was thinking back about Vanilla Sky. Have any of you guys seen this movie?
I saw it once, and I fucking hated it, and I never wanted to watch it again. And when you said
Penelope Cruz actually reprises her character in Vanilla Sky too, Sophia, she played the same character.
When you first said when we landed on it, and you said that this is the remake of the American remake of Vanilla Sky, the only thing I remembered about it was that I didn't like it. I remembered Tom Cruise wearing a mask of his own face, and I remember the scene where Penelope Cruz and Cameron Diaz kept like changing, like he was looking at them, and they kept thinking it was one girl and the other girl would be there or whatever. And that's all I remembered about it. Once I started watching this movie, like the entire movie came back to me. And Jim, you might be shocked to hear this, but this movie is 1,000,000 times better than Vanilla Sky.
Yeah, I was like,
didn't see that either.
Yeah.
Before I watched the movie, I was like, I didn't remember. I was like, I know I saw Vanilla Sky, I just can't fucking remember it. And as the movie went on, like I was just like catching, glimpses of. I remember this came out. I was 17, not even 16 going on 17. So it was like, a long time ago. And but then all of a sudden I started remembering like Johnny Galecki's in this movie. Kurt Russell's in this movie. Fucking Alvin and Chipmunks dude is in this movie. So, dude,
vibrating. Lift up your microphone.
No, some fucking guy is Facebook audioing me.
Oh. But I'm live on the show.
To call into the show.
Are you trying to call in?
Or is it the guy who's going to call you a bald version?
He's trying to sell me the Purge 3 digital code.
Trying to sell it to you?
Yeah. No, there's like there's these Facebook groups, right? So sorry, take a side detour real quick. Facebook groups that it's just people that post the digital codes. You need to talk to me about selling this. I told you I'm busy podcasting, guy. Jojo, relax over there. What's it called? So there's these groups on Facebook that you can go on there, and people post digital codes for Voodoo and iTunes. You know, like those ultraviolet fucking
comes
things.
with the fucking thing, yeah.
Right. So like, I bought the 2 Purge movies, $8 HD. You know, fucking. But I also get codes. So like for $12, I got $25 of Voodoo credits. So, you know, you go in the groups, post things, but people like trade them and collect them. And like, I have over 500 movies. I'm like, I just want to buy the movie I need so I don't have to fucking rent it, you know, or do some back route stuff. But anyway, it's pretty cool. So yeah, I have a little digital collection. Anyway, sorry. Fucking, he's making my fucking podcast buzz. Anyway, back to Opening Your Eyes. Vanilla Sky, fucking definitely did not like this movie when I saw it initially. But watching this Open Your Eyes and all these years later, it's definitely makes a lot more sense, the movie, to me. I don't know. Cameron Crowe is one of those directors where you either love or dislike what he does. So Almost Famous, love it. Vanilla Sky, love
that movie.
Oh yeah, fucking amazing. You know, I mean, he wrote Fast Times at Ridgemont High. He did Change Your Heart, Say Anything. Come on, fucking Jerry Maguire, Almost Famous, then does Vanilla Sky, like, and then it's just all downhill from there. Did you guys see We Bought a Zoo?
No, I
either.
I just didn't bother trying to watch.
Me either. He did that. He did Aloha, that fucking movie with that chick, the redhead chick. So anyway, you know, Cameron Crowe did a lot of Rolling Stone stuff. It was loosely based off him. Almost Famous, love that movie. Jerry Maguire, great fucking movie. You know, this movie, he definitely tried to take on something that he shouldn't have. Why did you remake this movie? Was this supposed to be a cash cow? You know, what do you guys think?
It had to be just because he could get a movie with Tom Cruise in it. Like, if you were gonna remake this movie to make Vanilla Sky, I don't like. All he did to me was like Hollywooded up, you know.
Right.
And then to me, the way he Hollywooded it up, it didn't work. Like, even, you know, that scene on the roof, that final scene. If you compare the one from Open Your Eyes to the one of Vanilla Sky, like, the CGI and everything, like, it's completely different.
Yeah.
It's the same thing, but it just looks so different, and it doesn't look, and it doesn't make the movie better in any way the way he did it. You know what I mean?
I agree.
I think that this kid in Open Your Eyes was much more sympathetic of a character than Tom Cruise was.
I definitely, you know, Tom Cruise is, I don't know, because I guess, you know, when you're watching this movie, when I watch Tom Cruise act, he's a great actor, don't get me wrong, but now when I watch him, I just see Tom Cruise. Like, after the whole Scientology shit and everything, and he just started getting all fucking crazy, I don't know. I just feel a disconnect with him in his movies now.
In Open Your Eyes, the kid comes across as like like almost naive, like a young kid who doesn't quite even understand like his arrogance. You know what I'm saying? As where when you see Tom Cruise, you're like, oh, this dude's a movie star and he knows that he's, you know what I mean? Like, you got much more the vibe that this kid in Open Your Eyes didn't realize like he's this attractive dude that women fall in love with. And like, I don't even recall that there being like that jealousy thing between Tom Cruise and the friend in Vanilla Sky.
You know, I don't really remember too much, honestly. But I do remember the character being like, you know, a rich fucking snobby type of guy where, like you said, in the one we just watched, you know, he is this rich, spoiled kid. Like they talk about him holding his family's thing and all that stuff, where I feel like Tom Cruise was almost like a businessman of some sort. You know what I mean?
Like he came across like just more as a diva than this kid did. This kid just looked like a young kid with a ton of money that just, you know, as where Tom Cruise came, like to me, he came close like as this happening to a movie star as opposed to just a well-off person.
I guess. I mean, yeah. I guess I don't remember the fine details of Vanilla Sky. I know he was something with writing and publishing, where this one was restaurants. He said that the family owned a chain of restaurants. I remember Jason Lee was his friend. I know that. And what's her name? Cameron Diaz played not Sophia, obviously. What was her name? Nuria? I don't remember what her name was in the other movie. Nah. If it was the same or not.
And even that, like the girl in Open Your Eyes to me was more like just like a crazy stalker, as where Cameron Diaz was just like, she came across more as like a spoiled brat who wasn't getting away.
Right.
Deal, you know?
And you know that, all right. Let's take a step back away from Vanilla Sky and open your eyes to what it is. Because, you know, talking about it with Vanilla Sky is making it seem like a hell of a lot better movie. But there's still things that we should discuss before we even. Yeah, let's take a step back real quick. Open your eyes, right? So the plot here, we have. Sorry, I get the fucking eye here. What's his name? Caesar. Yeah, so Caesar. You know, he's his parents died a long time ago. He inherited the money from their restaurant business. His friend Pelayo is always, you know, down and out, can't find a girl, where Caesar's always with a chick one time. That's it. Never seen with her again. So, you know, you're set up with the caricatures, right? The archetypes, these people, they're not complex characters, you know, they're simple characters. They're not going to change, right? They're always going to be who they are. And Nuria is, you know, his chick that he sleeps with. And then, long story short, it's his birthday and he meets Sophia. Pelayo finally meets a girl at the library. You met her, you can meet her anywhere. Meet her at the library, you know, like right away, she's painted as, you know, this good girl, right? Like even Nuria says to her, like, oh yeah, you know, what the fuck did she say to her? Basically insinuating like she's not gonna bang you on the first date, you know, you're gonna have to work for her. So
something about she can't find the zipper or something like that.
Yeah. She won't be able to find the zipper or something like that. So yeah, anyway, you know, the stage is set, right? With these characters. You meet these people and you're already, it's not like the events start happening right away. Like it really builds up who these people are. And that's something I really like about this. It shows you this guy waking up in bed by himself in the beginning, looking in the mirror, versus what happens later. You see the same thing, except the emotion is totally different now. Where in the beginning you fucking want to stab this guy in the face, you start to pity him in a way, you know. So then things do change, and does he become a complex character? It's a question that we could talk about. So anyway, Nuria, major factor in this movie, right?
Man.
She
Oh yeah.
she wants him, you know, she wants his beige, and you don't want to give it to her no more. On top of the fact that she's now become jealous because of Sophia. So he ends up taking her home, and she follows him there and waits for him outside of her apartment. So you already know his bitch is cray. Then it just gets crazier. So what do you think? What do you think about this chick Nuria?
I mean, she, is a typical like obsessed psychopath. And this kid wants nothing to do with it. He tries to make her jealous. Not even make her jealous. He tries to just to blow her off by talking with Sophia and kind of hoping that she'd get the hint, like he wants nothing to do with her and just go away. But she wasn't willing to do that easily. And, just the way she pops up was kind of very like stalkerish and psycho. And I'm thinking like, why the hell would you get in the car with this girl? Like, dude, just keep walking, go the opposite direction, do something, just get away from her.
Yeah.
Thing is, I can fucking relate to this shit. Sadly, but that's the one thing. Like when he said, "Okay, I'll get in the car with you," I'm like, "No, she's fucking crazy, dude. No, go away, bye."
Oh man. Yeah, this shit is fucking nuts, man. Then that everything's all good and plenty, and then all of a sudden she veers off the road, vroom, crashes the car, and he awakes disfigured. So vanity, a major theme of this film. This film like outright asked questions that I thought were amazing. For example, pop up my notes. Dude, what about Captain Planet? I'm going to bust some knowledge out in a minute on Captain Planet. You remember that? Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
What about
I'm trying to remember now. I didn't write it down, but I do remember the whole Captain Planet thing.
All right, I'll bust it out in a sec. But, things like this. Is this a dream, right? Is this a dream? Is this real life? But then what is normal considered? What is beautiful considered? All these questions come about in this film. Phenomenal depth to this movie, I thought. Not a horror movie by any means. Not a horror movie at all. I mean, he's a disfigured guy. I mean, there's not. Yeah, you get the isolation, you get all this other stuff, but ultimately, it's not a horror movie. That's for sure.
Reminded me of like a Twilight Zone episode.
Yeah, it could definitely be in that realm for sure. I mean, it could more of a science fiction than anything.
Yeah.
Than all that stuff. I mean, and at the beginning, it doesn't seem like a science fiction film. And watching this in Spanish, I don't look at it as a science fiction film, but the Vanilla Sky version feels like a science fiction film because of, I guess, that whole CGI aspect and the dream like quality to it. Where the dreams just played as like you didn't really know,
Yeah.
I was definitely there was this one part I wrote down. I'm like, I go, oh, that part when she kisses him. Sorry. So let's throw our spoilers up real quick. Spoilers up. If you've never seen this or Vanilla Sky, spoilers are up. So
don't listen to this podcast if you've never seen the fucking movies.
He gets wrecked. All right, so after he's disfigured, he eventually comes around to meeting up with Bayao and Sophia, and they go to a bar, and he has his fucking little mask with him. Eventually takes it off and starts to get wrecked.
Because Sophia doesn't want to talk to him, and she asked a friend to come along because she didn't want to be alone with him and all that stuff. So yeah, I can imagine him getting fucked.
I'm coming, baby. Let's see if that helps. Anyway, keep going without me for a sec. I'm listening.
Like I said, the scene, it definitely, you saw the difference between how she wanted him when he looked good and how he didn't, how she didn't when he looked like shit. He wanted to see her for a night out. Then his friend was there, and his friend tells him, she asked me to come along basically because you're freaking her out and shit. And he rips his mask off and decides to get annihilated drunk. And it's basically a reverse of what his friend did at the party where he met her originally. His friend was drunk, and the other guy, the star, and now that the star's drunk and deformed, she's wanting the friend now. So basically, she's just a whore.
I don't know.
She? I don't know.
I didn't think that. I mean, I think initially she kind of was. I think he was so used to getting whatever chick he wanted, and the fact that she was kind of like not giving into that shit. I don't think she wanted him from the beginning. Like, I think she went there with a friend and she was just out enjoying herself, and this kid was just trying to, get in her pants, basically.
Right. I mean, I think that she was playing in with it, but also like the culture, you got to take that into factor. Like, you don't know somebody, you meet them right there, you're a friend. Oh, kisses on the cheek, mwah, like it's like being playful and pulling her in the room and all that stuff. Like, I feel like at an American party, it's like, are you trying to fucking rape me? Where here, she was going along with it, being playful and everything, and like he didn't cross that line, he kept it, he wasn't like a total dog.
Well, she was being flirtatious and like you said, playful would have been stuff. But at the point where he ends up getting disfigured, it's like the next day, right? She goes home. He goes to her house with her that night. He gets in the car when he's leaving the house, and she like, I don't think she owed him anything.
No, of course not. She met him once. That was it, and that's why I think she was spooked out and tells Payao that, like, dude, you're fucking. Even if you weren't disfigured, you're fucking stalking me out. Like, what's going on? But at the same time, that definitely plays a major factor into things. You let this guy in your house, but you won't go meet him out in a public place. Why? Because he's disfigured, So I mean, that stuff definitely plays a role. Yeah. So real quick, I wanted to open my note to that Captain Planet thing that I was just mentioning. So so he chats up Penelope, friend is drunk and pissed. He takes her home. They draw. Oh, that was cute, right? How they draw each other, how they see each other. I thought that was fucking beautiful, man. It was phenomenal. And then the TV overlay, right? It says something about normal. What is considered normal, right? And then Captain Planet's on. And one of the characters is like, there's going to be a landslide. Dude, can you talk about foreshadowing? What? There's about to be a landslide, all right, in this fucking movie, And then they go in the car right after that. And she started asking things like, do you believe in God? And it starts asking all these big questions before she crashes the car. Another thing, the girl, right? She's clad in red, You guys know what red's symbolic for. Danger, death, blood, right? So, dude, she's got full-on red dress, passionate love, seduction, anger, danger, red car, right? So there's definitely, more to the filmmaking than just, fucking silent rage, right? which is just a movie for, entertainment's sake. There's a lot more psychology and the symbolism and questioning about life and the human condition here. And I'm a big fan of all that shit. So, I thought this worked on many levels. So anyway, Captain Planet fucking busting out Captain fucking Planet, It's amazing, bro. So shit like that, little things like that I thought were great. What else happens in this movie? This movie is definitely way too long though. At one point I wrote, "Holy shit, there's still 50 minutes left!" Exclamation points. Definitely could have shaved 25 minutes off this one. Cut that to an hour and 37 minutes and we'll be good.
I mean, what do you think of the jumping back and forth? Like it jumps to, him in the or in the whatever jail, wherever he is, and the doctor, remember things. You killed someone, but at this point, we had no idea. He's still wearing that mask. We hadn't seen his face really yet. Back and watch, all this shit. Who's he going to kill? Is it going to be his friend? Is it going to be, I don't know. So that's the only part of the movie where I was like, okay, who's he going to kill? Because I didn't see Vanilla Sky, so to me it was just a whole fucking, random movie.
Mm-hmm. So you didn't know the ending of Vanilla Sky when you watched this?
Thing about Vanilla Sky, I've known of the movie, but I've never. That would never be anything I would ever choose to fucking watch.
Right. Spoilers are up. So the ending, right? The ending, the twist, it all comes together, right? What do you think? Did that make sense? At the end, like, when you were like, oh, okay, now it all makes sense, or what the fuck is this still?
Just the simplistic form of it was a dream, or what? Or like an alternate reality?
Well, okay, so basically after that night at the bar when he gets wrecked, right? And he wakes up, that's the point where the dream starts. So he's basically in a fucking cryogenic chamber for 150 years after that exact moment in real life. So everything after that is a dream. So the whole shit was a dream, right?
Yeah. His face fixed, him getting... The only people that he remembered were the only people that we saw for the rest of the movie.
Right, so you have basically the friend, the girl, and the doctor. The two girls and the doctor, right? Fangula. Talk. Do something.
Time frame's kind of messed up here. Did he doctor in the movie? He was already arrested. So, like how? Where did the doctor come from?
Well, he didn't die on the ground that night. From where the dream starts, he didn't die. He lived after that, and then once he died, that's where they picked the dream up from.
Right. That's right. Sorry.
So, like the whole thing about him with them trying to fix his face still, and all that other shit, like he was having. That was the dream, but it was all based in reality. Like he was having those flashbacks of remembering signing stuff and all that kind of crap. All that happened after that night at the bar where he ended up passed out on the floor.
Right.
Where
he was on the internet looking for
once
him.
he died, they started from that point because he never. And then Sophia shows up and the whole love story kind of fucking happens.
Oh, okay. So basically, they started his alternate reality dreams shit up on the street that night.
Yeah, like he didn't die that night and then get frozen. That's when he died later on.
Car wreck, right?
No, he survives a car wreck
and gets disfigured.
He becomes disfigured and he hears about this cryogenic. He hears about
it at her house. No, wasn't it on the TV when he was at the house? Was that one of the commercials or something that blew through?
Yeah. That was like throughout the film. That was always a commercial on there, right? So then,
but when did he die?
he didn't exactly die. He OD'd. Remember, he had dreams of ODing. He took all those pills. So like he went to the
Right after,
place,
yeah,
signed all the
And
papers,
everything. Yeah.
went home to kill himself because I guess that's part of what you do. You have to kill yourself. So he ODs. They and then I guess they don't show any of this shit, but I'm assuming fucking the people come in and fucking bring them and rig them up to whatever kind of fucking virtual reality cryo chamber dream-like fucking thing they use machine, and that's it. He's in a tank for 150 years, and he's dreaming for 150 fucking years. That's crazy.
yeah. You guys, either one of you guys watch Black Mirror on Netflix?
I saw the first season.
I forget if that might be the second or third season. There's an episode where there's like a similar kind of concept that's pretty dope. But yeah, that's a good show. Guys should go watch it now.
But wait,
Right now.
At the end of the movie, if this doctor is on the roof with him telling him all this shit, and then the doctor says, at this point in time, 150 years later, we can fix your face and all this shit. Does that even matter if he's fucking came back from cryogenic state and then fucking he's basically telling him?
Yeah, basically he's saying like you could either, restart the dream or whatever, or you could wake up now, they could fix your face and you could, come back to life and try to have a life.
Right. So he could be alive again or stay in a dream state.
Yeah.
All right. I'm good.
Oh shit.
Shit.
So,
Okay.
it's just freaking nuts, this movie, man. I mean, what's reality, what's not, stems back to my man Plato, right? Shadows on the cave, that's all you know. I don't know. I thought that this is a great movie, man. I really did. Definitely a little too long, but overall, great movie.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, I like I said, there was two things I had to like fight through. One, going into it thinking I was gonna hate it automatically because of how I felt about Vanilla Sky when I seen it.
Mm.
And also while I'm watching it being like, how the fuck did this end up on Shudder? This isn't a horror movie. Because when you said, because I don't remember Vanilla Sky being, I didn't remember Vanilla Sky being a horror movie, but you said it's a remake, so I'm thinking, all right, maybe the original had different elements and Vanilla Sky is just based off of this initial concept or whatever. But
I mean, the tone is definitely darker, more sinister in the Open Your Eyes. There's no humor at all in the movie. Where like I remember Tom Cruise's Vanilla Sky's, like you said, it was Hollywood Eyes. It was like I don't remember exact jokes, but it was definitely like the tone was not the same. It was brighter. You get like music that in it. You know what I mean? Like fucking
it did translate well, I don't think. And like I said, a few minutes into the movie, like literally so much of Vanilla Sky came back to me. Where all of a sudden I was like, oh yeah, this is what happens,
Oh yeah. I don't know. I mean, you could, sit there and analyze the shit out of this movie. So, I like that kind of stuff. But, it's think about it, right? You came up with this twisting story, right? And then you just have some fucking gringo come over and rip that shit from you and make millions off of it. I'd be fucking pissed. This was an original idea, and fucking come on, So I mean, the writer Mateo Gil and Amenbar, who directed it, they did a fucking phenomenal job, So looking at this individually, you gotta realize, this is quality fucking filmmaking, man. This is not Hollywood glamorized bullshit. This is fucking life. This is humanity. These are the big questions that we ask every day. So I mean, it doesn't get more human than this, you know?
Definitely.
I could sit here going on. I'm not even going to open my notes because the kid's crying and we're on a good flow here. So before we wrap things up, give our final ratings. Is there anything else in this film that we missed that we should take note of?
I don't think so. I've pretty much said everything I got to say about it.
You know, I think one thing that was interesting at the end when he was like, you know, you created your hell, you know, I tried to tell you that you could change your dreams, but so it just goes to show like we're gluttons for punishment. We fucking wallow in our sorrows way too much. And sometimes that's what we want life to be, you know? Sometimes some people just love fucking having problems in their lives, loves fucking, you know, the drama, right? Loves the fucking negativity, you know, the pessimist of the world. It's real easy to be a pessimist. So anyway, I'll leave my thoughts on that. Any last comments before we rate?
Nope. I'm good.
All right. Well, I'm going to grab my pair of balls and give this 4.5 zombie heads. I thought this was, Jesus Christ. This was a fucking extremely well-made, well-acted, well-produced film. The idea alone is phenomenal. They say a lot of the influence came from a play called Life is a Dream. It's a Spanish play by Pedro Caldón de la Barca. And it's basically a philosophical allegory about, you know, humanity and the mystery of life, you know? So at the core, that this is what this is about too. So, you know, like I said, you could sit there, you could pick this movie apart, talk about it in philosophy class, and really dig beneath the surface deep. The only flaw is that it's a little too long, so I knocked it down a half point for that. Otherwise, everything else here is, you know, top tier filmmaking. It's one of a kind. You know, it's hard to make something that has not been done before, and you know, this movie hasn't exactly been done before until Vanilla Sky came along and shoved his thumb up its ass.
Yeah. You want to go, Jim?
Sure. I'm going to go 4 out of 5 zombie heads on this one. I'm fucking around with you. This is actually probably one of the most confusing but thought-provoking movies we've watched so far. Definitely not horror. This episode, but we still had to do it. We picked it, I guess. We didn't have the veto rule. but
the veto rule is not in effect yet.
It was not, but definitely not horror. So I apologize for anybody who was only watching this for the show, you know, listening to the show for horror factor. But it's a very confusing the shit. But when you think back and like I said, the questions I had now that you guys, you know, made clear to me now, so I'm not as confused. And sucks that I'm like this, but if it were the identical movie but American, not Vanilla Sky, but the identical movie but American, I probably would have enjoyed it a lot more. It might have been not as confusing, but definitely a good movie, just not horror. So
maybe you'll like Vanilla Sky.
There's a little part of me that's like, maybe I should go watch Vanilla Sky again and see if it's as bad as I remember it being.
Yeah, me too. I mean, you know, when I'm in a 16, 17-year-old mind, I'm not thinking about philosophy and fucking humanity and life. I'm thinking about fucking, you know, fucking titties and gore, right?
Well, I'm thinking like, because like I said, up until I started watching the movie a few minutes in, like a lot of Vanilla Sky came back to me. But the only thing I remembered from it when you said it, because I think I even made a comment. You were like, that it was from Vanilla Sky on the podcast. I was like, oh God, like really? Because I really remember hating that movie and like having discussions with people afterwards about how much I did not like Vanilla Sky. Because it was like a big deal when it came out. I remember like, reported on all that kind of bullshit. But
like, who are we talking about this movie with? Our peers that were our age and not fucking parent adults thinking about responsible things and fucking,
most likely.
You know what I mean?
I remember like legit being like, fuck, I'm like, why are you making a big that movie sucks? But this, man, like, I can't, like, I'm gonna give it a 4.5 too, but I can't imagine how, like, I was expecting to come in and give this like either a 1 or like nothing, you know. And I ended up really, really enjoying it. So
I actually watched the whole shit in one sitting.
Wow,
I didn't do my 2-hour breakup.
Yeah.
It was really, I was really happy with it. You know, and you know what, that part when I was like, holy shit, there's 50 minutes left. Like, after like I wrote that, the last 50 minutes went by. Like the last half hour of that movie is like zoom, because you want to know what the fuck is going on. And it all comes together in the end. And I think the opening and closing of the actual eyes, like, so symbolic. I mean, everything from birth to death, you know, opening and closing of eyes. So, I mean, like I said, this thing is, it's really what art embodies, and that's a representation of humanity, right? And how we perceive life. So it doesn't get more,
like you said, starts with the open your eyes, open your eyes, open your eyes thing, and then the end is actually breathe. What is it? Breathe, or something. It'll be all right, or something. Remember the end when it goes black and you hear the voice again. I can't remember what it says.
I don't remember, but he takes that leap of faith, right? I mean, that's fucking major symbolism right there. You know, the leap of faith, right?
Well, even if you
now he's going to go into reality. He's going to wake up in reality now. You know,
like I said, just comparing those two scenes between the two movies and how the English version was so like Hollywooded up. You know, like in Open Your Eyes, the kid is like hesitant about getting up on that thing. In Vanilla Sky, I remember like Tom Cruise like sprints to the edge of the building and then like he slams on the brakes and there's like this whole
that whole pause, the fall from grace.
It was like I feel like the English version, they went just for like style points as opposed to just making a good movie.
Right.
You know,
and that's the thing. Like this movie, it's not stylized. It's not fucking. They're not worried about that. They're worried about telling a story of about the big questions in life, and I think that is more important than fucking any style or substance when it comes to telling a story. You know, these characters are relatable. You know, even though you're not some fucking rich fucking connoisseur of restaurant industry, like you're a human being and you could relate emotions no matter if you're piss poor or extremely rich. And that's the beauty of this, you know. So
sounds good.
Yeah. So maybe sometimes it's good not to, you know, get a horror movie on here, I guess.
We're gonna do Angela's next week.
Slice and Dice.
Slice and Dice Dreadcast. Slice and Dice Dreadcast. I mean, that was a dreadful movie, man. You know, that embodied dread. So can't say it didn't do that. All right, guys.
All right, what are we gonna make? Let's announce our pick for next. Our poll pick, and we got to announce our.
We already did. We don't know our new one yet.
Oh, you want to give the new poll pick now?
One?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh yeah, we said what one.
Yeah, Stephen King's It one.
Yeah,
Stephen King's It. What's the fucking thing? All right, so next episode we have. Well, we're gonna start off with the Chupacabra.
Chupacabra, friend or foe?
Yes. Chupacabra, friend or foe? Then we have It by Stephen King. The Blood Splattered Bride, and Legend of Hell House. So we're in for a treat, folks. Oh, and then we could take a break in between Chupacabra and the first movie and get some music in there.
Nice.
All right, boys. It's been a pleasure. Happy chat. And open your eyes. Now it's time for me to go close.
Let's just let's get these movies watched and have this episode up and running here in 2 weeks.
All right, peeps.
Yeah,
See
man.
you in 2 weeks.
Follow the Instagram, damn
Thanks
it.
for listening, everybody.
Yes, I forgot the Instagram. How do you spell it? Slice underscore and
It's
underscore.
Underscore in between each word, because that was all that was available.
Slice and Dice Dreadcast underscore in between each.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Slice and Dice
Join us
Dreadcast
on,
underscore in between each word.
Join us on Facebook, Slice and Dice Dreadcast. Also, the Death by Podcast, Slice and Dice Dreadcast group page where we talk, argue, bicker about horror all day, every day. And that's it, folks. Night.
And on Twitter, we're getting a lot more followers at Horror Dreadcast on Twitter at Horror Dreadcast. So go head over there too.
It's been a pleasure, peeps.
All righty. Peace out.
See you next.